All right, welcome to the 43rd edition of Before the Battle. I am Nick Baldwin. He is the host of Half the Battle, Daniel Levy. Daniel, how's it going?
It's going awesome, man. Just chilling. We got our first troll on air, so here we are, man. What's up, Connor?
What's up, dude? Just chilling. Just got off work. Happy.
Yeah, Connor McCuen joining us for the first time. How should I introduce you? I guess future MMA fighter. Does that work?
Sure, why not? Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay. UFC Fight Night 93 goes down live from Hamburg, Germany this weekend. Not exactly what we've been used to last month, the month before. UFC, it's not UFC 202 caliber, UFC 200, but this fight, we're here to talk about it. Headlined by Arlovski and Josh Barnett. Actually, a pretty decent four-fight main card. But we will get down to the UFC Fight Pass prelims, starting out with Rustam Hapilov taking on Leandro Silva. Pretty fun lightweight matchup. Daniel, who do you like here?
It's a good fight. You know, it should be a Khabibov decision here. You know, my biggest issue is actually the line. I saw Khabibov at -400, and I don't think he should be that high just because Buscapé always goes to split decision. So, you know, but he always, he tends to be on the wrong end of them when he's fighting a higher level guy like Khabibov. You know, as you saw in his fight, who was that dude he lost a split to? Francisco Trinaldo. So, I think it's going to go down. He's going to get taken down a couple times. He'll have some close striking exchanges. But at the end of the day, Khabilov's going to win the decision.
And Connor, Rustam Hapilov is a pretty sizable favorite here for good reason. Do you agree with the line? And do you think Khabibov will take the victory here?
I completely agree with Daniel here, for once. So I just think he's just going to squash him on the ground. He has some great wrestling, to be honest. What's funny, Nick?
Keep going.
Okay, thank you. I just don't like being interrupted. I think he's just gonna wrestle it, unanimous decision win, and that's it for Rustam Khabibov.
Yeah, I agree. Khabibov, I mean, -400 is a bit steep because Leandro Silva has a nasty ground game. Although he as of late he's been, I don't know, he's not a shot fighter. Like, that's not what I'm getting at. But he can't pull the trigger sometimes. He's a bit inactive in his fights. So I think Rustam Hapilov will take it. He's definitely better on the ground. His wrestling advantage will play into this fight a lot. Yeah, I think Hapilov will be able to take down Leandro Silva. Silva will never be able to grab a hold of Khabilov's neck or do a whole lot in this fight. I see it being a grinding affair, but I see Rustam Hapilov coming out the victor by dominant unanimous decision. Now, next up, we got Scott Askham taking on Jack Hermanson, the newcomer, the Cage Warriors champion. Daniel, what do you know about the Joker, and how do you think he matches up against Scott Askham?
He's not a bad prospect at all. He's very tall and long for the weight class, switches stances a lot, almost like a diet version of Krzysztof Jotko. He's Krzysztof Jotko light. And Scott Askham went 3 rounds with Krzysztof Jotko and put up a very valiant effort. And Scott Askham, he's already got that UFC experience under his belt, and I think he's gonna welcome Jack, the Joker, into the UFC. Whether it's a knockout or a decision, that remains to be seen, but I got Scott Askham here.
And Connor, Askham's the favorite. Heading into this matchup, do you think he will pull off the victory, or do you think the Joker will get the job done in his debut?
Well, isn't the Joker like 16-2 right now, right?
13-2.
13-2, yes. But I still think Scott has the superior striking here in this matchup, and I do believe he is the favorite in this match, and he will win by knockout.
Scott Askham here, I haven't been thrilled with his UFC tenure thus far. He's looked pretty good, but he's a guy that I look to fade quite often when he gets a step up in competition. But Jack Hermanson is not. He's a good prospect, and I do think he will be a winning fighter. Plus over 500 fighter, I should say, in the UFC in the future. But Scott Askham is a tough debut. He is the better guy on the ground here. I think it's going to be another grinding affair. Perhaps I believe Hermanson's a bit better on the feet, but I think Scott Askham will be able to take it to the ground and probably win by decision, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Scott Askham pull off a late finish. Now, next up, we got a heavyweight matchup between Georges Danho, the Man Mountain, and Christian Colombo, Godzilla. He's a newcomer to the UFC. Daniel, what do you know about Godzilla, and how do you think he matches up against Georges Danho?
What I know about Godzilla is that he can't stack up to the Man Mountain. Got to go with the Man Mountain here, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Connor, it's a lower level heavyweight matchup. I tend to get these wrong. Are you going with the Man Mountain or Godzilla?
Oh, I'm going with Godzilla on this one. This will kind of be a war, but I don't see it going past the second round for Godzilla and the Man. What's his name? Nickname?
Man Mountain.
The Man Mountain. Like, yeah, Godzilla's good to start that guy. I'm sorry, Daniel, but like, I gotta go.
Don't apologize to me, man. I ain't fighting Godzilla.
Apologize to Danho if anyone. I'm going with Georges Danho here in this matchup. Like I said, though, I usually get these lower-level heavyweight matchups completely wrong. I'm going with Danho, probably inside the distance, so that probably means Colombo's going to win a grinding decision. But the thing with this matchup is that I feel Danho, he has a few more tools on the feet. Haven't seen much from Colombo whatsoever, but, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a coin toss fight. Danho has UFC experience only by one fight, so I'm not sure how big that'll play into this matchup. Nonetheless, I'm going to go Georges Danho by knockout. Next up, we got a really interesting bantamweight matchup, one I'm looking forward to. Taylor Double Impact Lapalus taking on Leandro Issa. Daniel, who do you like here?
This is a really good fight, man. You know, I think that Taylor Lapalus can win the long-term battle in this fight, but he's obviously got to be wary of Leandro Issa's world-class jiu-jitsu. I know Russell Doan was able to tap him out, but that almost reminded me of a situation of kind of like George Gershel versus Cole Miller. I know that was before Connor's time, but you know, I think it was one of those situations, and Leandro Issa is really good. Taylor has to be wary of it, but Taylor Lapalus is going to get it done here.
Connor, Taylor Lapalus is the favorite here. Issa coming in as a slight underdog. Who are you picking in this interesting bantamweight matchup?
Well, I do agree. Like, I like Issa's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's actually very great, but I was very surprised when he faced Russell Doan and he got tapped. What kind of choke was it? He got tapped out to a, was it triangle?
Yeah, triangle.
Triangle, yeah. But yeah, I like his Jiu-Jitsu, so I think when they go on the ground, he's gonna win by a choke or armbar.
I am going to go with Taylor Lapalus here. The thing with Taylor Lapalus, he's really good on the feet, a lot better than Issa. Issa is a lot better than Lapalus on the ground, although Lapalus has won 60% of his fights on the ground by submission, so don't count out Double Impact's grappling game heading into this fight, but I still do believe Issa will be the one looking to get us to the ground. Lapalus will be using his takedown defense, which is improving, but he did give up a few takedowns against Eric Perez in his last outing, so could Issa get the fight to the ground early while they're still dry and grab Lapalus's neck early and get the choke? It's very possible. He has great BJJ, as Connor mentioned, but I'm going to go Taylor Lapalus to be able to keep this on the feet, get up if he is taken down, and eventually win by unanimous decision by just outpointing him on the feet. Now, next up, we got a women's bantamweight matchup between Ashley Evans-Smith, number 13 in the 135-pound division, taking on newcomer Veronica Macedo. Daniel, who do you like here?
You know, I think that Veronica Macedo has more potential than Ashley Evans-Smith, but the big factor here is she started her pro career in March of this year, you know, so I just don't think she has enough experience. And also, Ashley Evans-Smith does have some size on her. So just based on that alone, I think maybe her wrestling will be an advantage. But in her last fight, you know, she didn't use her wrestling at all. So it's one of those things where, you know, she got those first two UFC fights behind her, and that's going to pay dividends here. Ashley Evans-Smith by decision.
Connor, are you going with Ashley Evans-Smith here, or do you think Macedo will be victorious in her debut?
No, I don't think she'll be victorious in her debut. Like Daniel just said, she just debuted in March, was it, for her pro debut? So, but like with Evan Smith, she's been an amateur since like 2010, and she just debuted in like 2013. So I'm very impressed with her amateur career. I really like she's like 4-1 right now, only lost to Raquel Pennington. She was a standout on like The Ultimate Fighter. Was it season 18? Yeah, she did great on that. But she also has a victory over Fallon Fox, and here she is just just a monster. Like, Daniel, can you agree to that?
Yeah, I'm going to give you props for bringing that up because, that was one of those moments among, the MMA community, among the hardcore. We all got a soft spot for Ashley Evan Smith for beating up Fallon Fox. So much respect.
Anyways, my pick here. Connor, did you have something to add?
I'm just saying Evan Smith by tap out.
I'm going with Ashley Evan Smith here too. As far as their experience, it's tied. They both have 5 pro fights, but Evan Smith has been a pro fighter for longer. She's been in the UFC. She has the UFC experience advantage over Macedo. I actually agree with Daniel in the thought that Veronica, I think, has the more potential, but now it's just not that time. Ashley Evan Smith has a great wrestling game. Her striking is improving, although I did feel she lost her last outing against Marion Renaud. We did see some striking improvements in that fight. Macedo has the striking advantage, but I feel if Evan Smith can get this to the ground, she will be able to grind out Macedo for a decision, and I believe she will be. So my pick here is number 13 ranked women's bantamweight Ashley Evan Smith by unanimous decision. Now next up, we got a welterweight matchup between Peter Sabata taking on Nicholas Dalby. Daniel, I know you're pretty high on sharpshooter here. Do you think he will get past Sabata?
This is my time to make up for that one time when Peter Sabata got kicked in the body and then he went down. And I had money on him in that fight. This is my chance to get that back. I got Nicholas Dalby here. I mean, look, Nick Dalby's a winner. You look at his record, and even though in the UFC he's been 1-1-1, which is kind of interesting. You never see someone go into their first 3 fights. They have a win, a loss, and a draw. But, he's an interesting cat, man, and he's a very hard dude to beat. You saw in that Darren Till fight, he got dropped in that first round. Once or twice. I don't remember off the top of my head, but one thing I do know is he came back in that 3rd round hard. And in that fight against Zach Cummings, he also proved that, man, he's a tough out. I think this is going to be that performance where he goes out there and he shows a side of himself that we haven't seen yet. You remember with Krzysztof Jotko, how he kept going to all those decisions, then out of nowhere he knocks out the Barn Cat. Yeah, I think there's going to be that kind of moment for Nicholas Dalby. So, yeah, I got him here, and I got a bet on him as well.
Interesting. Connor, do you agree? Are you going with Nicholas Dalby to defeat Peter Sabata, or do you think the underdog can pull off the victory?
Well, considering he just lost to Kyle Noak, I do not, and this is his 2nd time in the UFC, I think, right? For Peter Sabata.
This is his 7th time in the UFC, I think. He's
no, but yeah, or whatever. But Nicholas Dalby, he has way more stoppages, I believe, right? Stoppages than decisions. And his last fight against Zach Cummings, Zach Cummings is a warrior. I loved him ever since The Ultimate Fighter. And Darren Till's fight was I kind of thought Nicholas Dalby won that fight. So yeah, Nicholas Dalby by decision.
I'm going to agree with both of you. My pick here is Nicholas Dalby, but I don't think it'll come that easy. Both guys are very gritty. At this point, you can almost call them veterans, Sabata more than Dalby. When I looked up their ages, I was really surprised to see that Sabata is still in his 20s on his 2nd stint in the UFC already. As far as fighting years go, I don't know about you, but I really feel Dalby seems younger going into this matchup. I feel his game just all around is a bit more high level, more high level than Sabata's. Sabata, again, like Daniel, I picked him going to that Kyle Noak fight, and he definitely Kyle Noak, not a guy you want to lose to in 2015, and that's exactly what Peter Sabata did. This is going to be a grinding affair. Nicholas Dalby, I don't think he will have that breakthrough performance like Daniel is thinking. I don't think it'll be a first-round finish or anything like that. I think it'll go to the judges, but I do think Nicholas Dalby will get the decision. He showed a heck of a lot of heart in that Darren Till fight. I feel coming off the Zach Cummings loss, he'll be improving his game. I'm not sure how much better Sabata will be and will be able to get. I feel already his better days are perhaps behind him. Nicholas Dalby, I feel his better days are in front of him. I am going Nicholas Dalby here by decision. Next up, we got the opening fight on the main card, Nick Hein taking on Tai-Hun Bang. Daniel, who do you like here?
On paper, I like Nick Hein. He's really damn good. The thing is, he's coming off a couple surgeries, so, I want to make sure that he's the same guy. With Tai Hyun Bang, always fun to watch. I mean, look, his last name says it all. The dude comes to bang, and he's a very exciting fighter. I just think Nick Hines more technical in the stand-up and in the grappling department. He does have that judo background, but as you've seen in his fights, even against my boy Vic, he showed some good striking there. So, yeah, I got to go with Nick Hines via unanimous decision.
Connor, do you agree? Are you going with Sargent here in his home country to defeat the Korean Cowboy? Or do you think Tai Hyun Bang can pull off the upset?
Oh, and definitely Nick Hine will win this match. I think his only loss is to James Vick and some other guy. But yeah, I've been really impressed with Nick Hine in the UFC so far, ever since 14 whatever against Drew Dober. But yeah, I got Nick Hine by second round KO. I put.
I am going with Nick Hine, but I actually disagree in the sense that I haven't been that impressed with Nick Hine in his UFC career, coming off a win back in September. So it's been almost a year since we've seen him, coming up to a year since we've seen the Korean Cowboy. It'll be interesting to see how the layoff affects both men. I believe Nick Hine, like Daniel said, just a bit better ever. Baldwin always he always shows up, always here to bang. An exciting fighter, but Nick Hine should pull off the win here. He's the favorite for a reason. I like Nick Hine here by decision. Now next up, we got the people's main event. Number 4 light heavyweight Ryan Bader taking on number 12 Ilir the Sledgehammer Latifi. Daniel, who do you like here?
I'm going to have to go with the upset here, not because it's cool to pick Ilir Latifi, but because fade power MMA. It's a rule I have. No matter who from their team is fighting, they tend to always lose. And when you give me plus 230 on Ilir Latifi, I'm going to take it, and that's the bottom line. And as far as how I think the fight will go down, well, yeah, Bader has improved his striking, as you saw in the Rashad fight, but maybe that's an instance of Rashad slowing down a bit. And also, what was up with that takedown he shot in that Rumble Johnson fight? I get that fighting Rumble is a scary thing, but did y'all see that takedown he attempted?
Oh,
that was pretty damn ugly. And Ilir Latifi, they call him the Sledgehammer for a reason. I mean, this dude makes his UFC debut on a week's short notice against Mousasi, goes the full 3-round distance with him. So he's no slouch. And even though Bader's more experienced, got to take that shot here. I'm going to Ilir Latifi.
Connor, do you agree? Are you going with the underdog Ilir Latifi, or do you think Ryan Bader will once again get back into the winning column?
You know what? I had Ryan Bader. I wanted him to beat Anthony Johnson, but Anthony Johnson has great power in his hands. This is what I'm thinking with Latifi too. Like his last fight with John Vellante, he crushed him. Like honestly, and did you see that knockout of Sean O'Connell? Like oh my god, that was like the perfect hand speed and great power possessed by him. So yeah, I am actually going for a round 1 KO by Latifi.
I didn't think all three of us would be picking Ilir Latifi, but that is the case because I mean Ryan Bader, I fade Ryan Bader quite a bit, and I often pay for it. I picked Rashad Evans against him, I picked Phil Davis against him, and perhaps I could be paying it again here, but I mean Ilir Latifi has the power, and Ryan Bader, he has an okay chin, but I definitely don't think it's a fantastic chin. Got knocked out cold by Glover Teixeira, and I mean, yes, he's getting knocked out by knockout artists, Glover, Rumble, etc., but Ilir Latifi is just that. He has power in both hands. That's why, as Daniel added, his nickname is the Sledgehammer. The wrestling could be interesting here. Both guys, even though Ilir Latifi has huge power, both guys are wrestlers. Ryan Bader is the better wrestler. I wouldn't be shocked because Ilir Latifi is so short for the weight class. I wouldn't be shocked if Ryan Bader takes Ilir Latifi down actually and grinds him out. Another good path to victory for Ryan Bader. Stay on the outside. Don't let Latifi get on the inside. Use your reach. You're the bigger guy. And just use your reach exactly, and don't let Ilir get inside and win off of points on the feet. But if Ilir Latifi gets inside, it is lights out for Ryan Bader. I believe that is what's going to happen. Ilir Latifi by knockout is my pick. Now next up, we got the co-main event of UFC Fight Night 93. The Mauler returns. Alexander Gustafsson taking on Jan Blachowicz. Daniel, who do you like here?
I mean, you got to pick Alexander Gustafsson here. I mean, he's better everywhere. He's fought better competition. He's ranked higher. It's just one of those situations that it seems way too good to be true. Maybe it is too good to be true. But the thing with Blankovic, he's got a hard body kick. He can crack. Not the best takedown defense. Not the best gas tank. So, I mean, Alex Gustafsson has to royally fuck up to lose this fight. It's possible. This is MMA. Anything can happen. But at the end of the day, I got to go with Alexander Gustafsson. I think he gets back on track here.
Yes, Gustafsson is the biggest favorite on this card for good reason. Connor, do you agree? Are you picking the Mauler to return in successful fashion, or do you think the Pole can pull off a massive upset?
Well, I honestly think Alexander's gonna get knocked out. Okay, no, no, Jan's not gonna do anything to Alexander. Alexander just gonna completely destroy him. Like, I don't even see how Jan has a chance. He's a 6-1 underdog, right? 6-1.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the odds. If anyone actually picked Han from this, I am very disappointed. So Alexander, I'm gonna give him a submission to this. Round 3 submission. He's just gonna beat him up all 3 rounds and just tap him out at the end.
Yes, I believe that Gustafsson's better days are behind him. I feel he's slowly but surely on his way down, but that doesn't mean he will lose to Jan Blachowicz. If he loses to Blachowicz, he should probably step away from the sport. Alexander Gustafsson is just a better fighter all around, on the feet, on the ground. He can win this fight however he wants. If you're looking to play this fight, go inside the distance. I would be pretty surprised if Gustafsson does not finish Jan Blachowicz sometime in this fight. Whether it's the first round or the third round, I don't know. But I do believe Alexander Gustafsson can win this fight however he wants, and he will. He will finish Jan Blachowicz. I'll actually say a submission again. Yeah, he likes to finish on the feet, but I'll actually go. I'll say Gustafsson submits Jan Blachowicz. It's time for the main event. Andre the Pitbull Arlovski taking on Josh the War Master Barnett. Number 6 versus number 9. Interesting heavyweight matchup. Daniel, are you going with Andre Arlovski or Josh Barnett?
I'm going to go with Andre Arlovski here. I know that, his chin's always a concern, but I mean, it's not like Barnett's chin's not a concern. You saw that Travis Brown fight. Arlovski also knocked out Travis Brown. Not that MMA math means shit, but the 2 guys that Arlovski lost to on his current run, where I think he won like 9 out of his last 11 or something like that, are the 2 guys fighting for the title, Stipe Miocic and Overeem. Whereas it doesn't really seem like Josh Barnett's head is in the game anymore, and he's getting tapped out by Ben Rothwell and shit, which is a beautiful choke. I mean, that go-go choke, that's a very rare thing. You don't see that often. But I think Arlovski's going to get back on track. That Mike Winklejohn game plan, they're going to have something up their sleeves, and they're going to take out Josh Barnett.
Connor, do you agree? Are you going with the slight underdog here, Andre Arlovski, like Daniel said there, or do you think Josh Barnett can get back into the winning column?
I don't understand how he's the underdog on this. But Josh Barnett just beat Roy Nelson. I don't even know how Roy Nelson actually made it to the 5th round. But he has great jiu-jitsu. He's actually been he trained with my teacher once. But yeah, I guess I'll go with the underdog Arlovski. But shut up. Yeah, I'm going with the underdog Arlovski here by round 3 KO. Josh Barnett got nothing on him.
I'm actually going to agree with both of you. I'm picking Andre Arlovski here. Josh Barnett, when you're a submission guy and you get choked out by Ben Rothwell, that's probably when you know it's time to hang the gloves up. That was very surprising. I did pick Ben Rothwell going to that fight, but Ben Rothwell winning by submission was not what anyone saw coming, really. If it was going to be a submission, it was obviously going to be Barnett. Andre Arlovski has the huge advantage on the feet, has the power advantage. He will either get taken down by Barnett and be able to get back up, or he won't be. He'll be able to defend the takedowns. I feel confident in that. And Josh Barnett, I'm not even sure he's going to look for the takedowns like he should. If he gets Arlovski down to the ground, get him set up for some sort of submission, it's his fight to lose all day. But if he doesn't do that, then Andre Arlovski should be able to keep him on feet quite easily. and I think he will knock out Josh Barnett. Barnett hasn't looked fantastic in his return. Yes, he beat Roy Nelson. One, that's Roy Nelson, and two, I felt that was a closer fight than most people thought. It is what it is when it comes to that fight. Then he gets choked up by Ben Rothwell. Not too impressed with the War Master thus far in his return. Arlovski has been looking really, really good as until this year when he got knocked out by both Stipe Miocic and Alistair Overeem. But at the end of the day, those two are fighting for the belt next. They're arguably the two best heavyweights right now, so there's no shame in losing to Overeem or Stipe. So my pick here is Andrei Arlovski by knockout early in the fight, whether that's the first round or the second round. Thank you guys for coming on the show, episode 43 of Before the Battle in the books. I know, Daniel, you don't play DraftKings, but Connor, you, I don't know, do you play DraftKings?
No.
Okay, so I will give up my DraftKings team. It goes like this. Let me just pull it up. So I got Ilir Latifi to knock out Ryan Bader. I got Arlovski to knock out I think he's going to pull off the knockout. I got Taylor Lapilus, I got Ashley Evan Smith, and I got Nicholas Dalby. Not thrilled with the team because I don't think Dalby will finish. Not too sure if Evan Smith will either. Lapilus again, close one there. So I might change that up, but 5 winners for me anyways. So I'm okay with that team. Thank you guys, as I said, for coming on the show. Daniel, as always, let the people know where they can find you on social media, where they can find your podcast, your bets, everything else you got going on in the world of MMA.
You can follow me on Twitter at Best Fight Picks. You can go to bestfightpicks.com for the plays up on the year. Looking to continue that Saturday, and then next Saturday, and then next Saturday. And you can check out my podcast, Half the Battle, on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Half the Battle. Nice talking to y'all.
All right. See you later, Daniel and Connor. Let everyone know where they can find you on social media. If there's anyone else you want, anything you want to say, any shout-outs, now is your time.
Well, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Connor_McCuen, and you can find my Instagram at ConnorMCCQ. And I would like to give some shout-outs to Curtis Brigham from WAMA representing. My teammates have fights October 7th. Actually, one of my teammates actually just got signed to a fight yesterday or today for Prestige FC. So go Katie Saul. I know Neil Gotsman got a fight. Barry Yuskastevich, or the Iron Pole. George Davis. Everyone from WAMA. Congrats to you boys. Go WAMA.
All right, now as for me, you can find me on Twitter as always at NickUFC. You can check out my other podcast, The MMA Circus. I hosted with Andrew Lawrence each and every week on BloodyElbow.com. This past week, today's episode 74, we had the women's bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes on the show. That was really cool having her on the program. We also had Cajun Johnson and Marvin Vittori, UFC lightweight and UFC middleweight respectively. Check that out. Check out articles coming out every week, every day. My writing over at BloodyElbow.com as always. Thank you guys as always. Thank you guys for listening. And with that, enjoy the fights.